Okay. Where do we want to go? So this is still waiting. The moss growing for us to jump down onto it is still going to need another few days. That needs a week. Or 2 weeks. I don't remember if this is a week or 2 weeks, and then this stalactite that's about to fall is like a week or 2 weeks. Right? And the water filling up in this pool, this is going to take a month. This is the cave where we can mine coal, which I really don't know. No, let's go there. It's not too far away, and it's a good opportunity for us to see if there's something else there, because that just seems weird to be able to go somewhere and mine coal, and it takes a long time to mine coal when you can just walk around and pick it up all the time. So I feel like there's got to be something different about that, and maybe if we mine there for a little bit, we'll find something other than coal. Like if that's a place where we can get more sulfur or more lapis, that'd be cool. We could try a blue fire. What if a blue fire got us even more time, even more of a time bonus? I already have the one, which I think we used to draw with. I think that's the blue that we used to draw with as well. I don't know if you burn it up and then can't draw with it anymore. That'd be sad. But also if there's a place where you could just mine and eventually get it, that would be neat. We could also go back to the Eternal Hall and walk further down that. I don't love that. I mean, I love the fact that we got books when we were in there earlier, but go ahead and grab that. Grab it, grab it. That one. I like the fact that we got books while we were there, but I don't like the fact that you have to walk back the distance that you walk in. And we've already walked 4 minutes in. So what if we've already found the items for the first 4 minutes of a walk? So we have to walk a 5th minute in order to get an item, and then it's 5 minutes back. At that rate, the most efficient thing to do would be to plan an entire day, plan an entire stream where you walk in, and if it's like an item every minute, just go in for like whatever you want to commit to. Go in for a half an hour, and it's going to be a half an hour back. So maybe we do it like at the end of a stream where we walk in and get all the items, and then we start him walking back, and then that's the end of the stream or something, and then he's back by the time we get on next time. Because at least walking around here, yeah, it's a test of patience, but there's a sense of adventure, there's observation, there's stuff that we could look around, try to find some secrets. We're doing stuff on a slow but regular pace, and in the Halls of Eternity, we're not even ticking time off of our wait. It's frozen the entire time, so we're not getting credit for our time spent. We're getting items, so it's not worthless, but yeah. I feel like that's even more dull to watch. And I feel like that is just on the other side of dull to watch. I think that this could still be argued as not being dull to watch. We are it's a few halls away. It's like 2 halls away from going back into the mines. Instead of going back through the big door, we'll head down into the right. And there's a lapis room, or sorry, a sulfur room, and we got like 5 sulfur and we made a sulfur fire. And then there's a coal room, I believe. But I don't even think we got a single coal out of it. We sat there and like picked at the wall for a while, and I was like, this is a waste of time if it's coal. I didn't really think it through though. So right now I'd like to see if it's something else. Thank you. Which, you know, arguably it would be a lot even harder for me to make it a good experience if you're just walking through the eternal halls with nothing exciting happening. Now, picking up the items, that's an occasional excitement every minute or so, grabbing an item. And I could be wrong. We could go back down there and it could still be an item every minute walking in. But if we go in there and the first 4 minutes is nothing, then that means that we've picked up the first 4 items. And we turned around and it took us 4 minutes to leave. Down into the mines. I kind of keep talking about it. I gotta figure out what's with these occasional memory spikes. Let me watch the actual processes this time. See if it's Streamlabs. I have a feeling it's Streamlabs that spikes. I'm only using 25% of my CPU. Oh, I guess we stopped walking too. Going here. The next time it kind of freezes up for a second, I'm going to glance over and see if we can catch what might be causing it. The longing only uses 3% of CPU power. And 155 megabytes of RAM. We've only been through here once, so there could have been stuff that we missed. It seemed pretty straightforward. But I am curious. So we will use our Matic in the coal room one more time. All right, down you go. It's going to take a while. I'm not the strongest, but luckily I have plenty of time. That's what he said last time. And I think while we were digging, coal just fell behind us. So that made me initially think, like, why would I even care? Oh, did it just generate like that? Or is that random? It's just a place where we can guarantee that we're going to get coal. Seems like what it is. Wasn't 100% sure. Be nice if we can get something else too. I've made very little progress yet. So it is like it's something that is taking a few minutes. You know what? Take your time. I'm pretty sure we have at least another 14 minutes and 30 seconds before the before the spider is ready. I think it's happenstance that we got the little piece of coal. Yeah, I think we'll fill out tonight with the longing, like we did yesterday. I wasn't sure. I was thinking, you know, we'd play for an hour or two, and then maybe hit a wall where we had to wait. We still have some stuff that we're doing, and yeah, we have to wait through the stuff that we're doing, but yeah, I think we can get another hour or so. So far, the first 2 streams of this, yesterday and today, have been pretty pure. Pure game for the longing. There's coal. I feel like that just fell right next to us. Made very little progress yet. Not sure what that means in this case. But I could like do picture in picture. If we have anything gradually that takes a while to accomplish, we could just like shrink the game up into like the corner of the screen, or make it kind of transparent or something. And then I could set a button up on my stream deck to swap between 2 games, and we could play something else and then come back to the longing. Double task. I've made some progress, but I'm not halfway there. Something's coming out of this wall, and I don't think it's just a little piece of coal. I could be wrong. It will be part of the grand joke if it is just a little piece of coal. Whatever it is like a 10-minute chore. Just like the pink crystal. So we'll see. It's something to do. There's coal behind us. We have 70 pieces. I'm okay. We could also... So I'm kind of torn, right? Like, is it disrespectful to the game to fill the time, or to consider myself filling the time by doing something else, when experiencing the time is part of it? But, you know, there's also, we're all rational people here. We get it. We get what it's doing, and it's his experience, not mine necessarily. It's the Shroud, and we can, you know, we have enough empathy to know what he's going through. So we could do other stuff too. We could read gaming news. We could play music, but then like that kind of takes my element out of it just a little bit. That might be interesting. I guess coal's right at our feet. I might as well pick it up. That might be interesting though, to pull up like Gama Sutra or like another gaming publication and just kind of like read out the news. While the shade, while the shade toils away. Now he's halfway there. So maybe it's like a 6-minute chore, because we still have 10 minutes left. I have 10 minutes left before the spider web, I'm assuming. 10 minutes left before I'd like to try the spider web again. Yeah, give me just a sec. Let's see. I would do something like play Double King in the corner of the screen, but then I wouldn't necessarily get to put this on YouTube afterward. Let's see. Apex Legends dev says Forge Stab and Switch was meant to foil data miners. I played Apex Legends the day it came out, and maybe like 2 days in. In fact, one of my very first streams was let's check out Apex Legends. I haven't really followed anything that's come out in the last year or so. Earlier this year, Respawn debuted new playable Apex Legends character Revenant with a bit of bait and switch, introducing him as the assassin of Forge, a ringer, which design character Jason McCord told Esports was designed explicitly to foil data miners and leakers. It started as a fun way to misdirect data miners who at the time felt like they had solved our next legend and had ruined our surprise, said McCord, who credited the idea to Apex Legends designer Rain Vinson. We actually purposefully leaked fake concept art and details of Forge's kit in patches, so there would be a breadcrumb trail by the time we announced him. It's pretty insane, really. I can't think of any other game that has gone through such hijinks. I have heard of some games that have put fake information in for data miners to find, but oftentimes they find cool stuff that's disappointing because it's not something that makes its way into the game, like something that was cut but then left scraps. Oh. Did anything jump to the top? Chrome. Of course Chrome jumped to the top. We didn't have Chrome open earlier. Anyway, sorry, the lag spike. Yeah, let's see. It says it's a remarkable bit of effort to outwit data miners, and sure enough, it seems many Apex Legends players were earnestly surprised by Revenant's reveal, presaged by an animated teaser in which Forge is murdered mid-interview by the rapacious robot. Surprise appeared to land even though Revenant's existence was leaked ahead of time by said data miners, whose efforts continued to frustrate McCord and other game developers. Late last year, for example, Blizzard's Jeff Kaplan made a point of highlighting how leaks of a game's existence or assets can negatively impact game devs' morale, as they lose out on getting to promote something they've worked hard on and instead often have to deal with misunderstandings and mistaken assumptions based on incomplete or unfinished work. Yeah, I could see that. There's also, and I'm with you, I'm all for trolling the miners in particular, because I mean it's probably more fun too for them to think that they found something. But pick that up too. Pick it up. There you go. Almost finished. But also, I think that it's okay for data miners to find out things ahead of time. Oh, what happened? Finally, the wall gave up its minerals. What's this? Big nugget of coal. This is 5 lumps worth. Was that it? Okay, I guess we could just do that anytime we want to, but was that worth 5 lumps of coal? At this rate, 5 lumps of coal is pretty much 1 lump of coal. Okay, I mean, it was worth it to find out. Back to what I was saying. Like if it's a game like, not all of them, but some of the games that EA comes out with, for instance, if they don't let people have a preview, if they don't let reviewers review the game before it comes out, that's a big red flag that the game might not be as good as they say it is. And so if data miners somehow like are able to get like a pre-download of a game that's not playable just yet, but they're able to see that it's not what people expect it to be and then warn them ahead of time, I think that's doing customers a good service. We'll get a little bit more sulfur. But that's kind of like, you know, vigilante reporting in a way. Need something to do to kill the next 4 minutes and 40 seconds here. So we'll get a little bit more sulfur. What else do we have in the news today? Halfway there. Oh yeah, I did hear about this too. Naughty Dog's The Last of Us is getting a live-action adaptation courtesy of HBO. I'm trepidatious. I love The Last of Us. If they do it well, it could be really good. HBO has announced it has a series based on Naughty Dog's game The Last of Us in the works, and is bringing on TLOU writer and creative director Neil Druckmann The Last of Us. Oh, Neil Druckmann, the director of The Last of Us, to help bring the adaptation to life. Details shared by The Hollywood Reporter have the live-action The Last of Us structured as an episodic show and is set to be the first TV series tackled by Sony Pictures Television's PlayStation Productions, which will be co-producing the show. I mean, watch them come out with like a God of War series and a Tomb Raider series. Sony Pictures Television Studios co-president Chris Parnell, probably not the comedian Chris Parnell, notes that the adaptation makes for the first of many shows we intend to develop with our friends at PlayStation Productions. The Last of Us series is set to be headed up by Chernobyl showrunner Craig Mazin, with Naughty Dog president Evan Wells and Game of Thrones and Deadwood producer Carolyn Strauss on board as executive producers alongside Druckmann. As long as it's not the Game of Thrones writers. From the first time I sat down to talk with Craig, I was equally blown away by his approach to narrative and his love and deep understanding of The Last of Us, reads a statement from Druckmann. With Chernobyl, Craig and HBO created a tense, harrowing, emotional masterpiece. I couldn't think of better partners to bring the story The Last of Us to life as a television show. I mean, if the special effects are good and they get the cordyceps zombies down, and I would even watch it knowing the story. So I kind of hope that they stick to Joel and Ellie's characters. That would be really cool. Introduce it to people who haven't played the game, because the story is awesome. Those characters are awesome, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into that world with Last of Us 2 when it comes out. It's supposed to be this year, right? What's the release date right now? It hasn't been pushed back again, has it? May 9th, 2020 is what Google says right now. We'll see. All right, we have 3 sulfur. Let's swap back to the spider. Narrative games like that, I want to stream more of them, because I love playing them in general and experiencing the story. And I kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday, I think, but it's a little bit easier on the streamer when the story is going. But then you can comment on what's happening in the story and your own feelings of it, and you and the viewers are experiencing that together, and that's really cool. When I first got into watching Let's Plays, probably around the same time everybody else did, right? One of the most fun things for me to watch was something with a narrative playing out, whether I'm watching like Markiplier or Game Grumps even, or anybody, play a game. If it's got a narrative and you just like hear what their opinion is of it and they're seeing it for the first time, whether you've seen it before or not, if you're both seeing it for the first time, that's cool too. That's just a really fun experience. It's like watching a movie with a friend. Sometimes it's like watching a movie with a whole theater of friends, and then everyone gets to see what everyone's comments are, and that's really cool. How often do you go to a movie and you feel like you're, with completely like-minded individuals? Maybe if you go to Star Wars. But a lot of times you go to a movie and a lot of people in the theater are going to be people that are just checking something out. Maybe they're not necessarily a fan. Maybe they are, but also you can't see their opinion. Everyone just quietly sits and watches together. There's something very unique about streaming and everyone talking in chat. I'm out of water. When we get back up to the spider, might take another quick break. Actually, now's a better time, because what if we can climb the web? So he will stop when he gets to the spider if he gets there before I do, but I'm going to grab some more water and I'll be right back. Here I was thinking I took just a little bit too long. I should have known better. What else do we have? Oh, there's an article here about The Longing. Video game deep cuts, not for broadcast. The Longing of Kirby. I guess there's a few things going on. Washington Post, Christopher Bird says, The Longing makes a mockery of the idea that games depend upon instant gratifications. It is a minimalist game that creates ample space for the mind to wander and philosophize, along with the shade as he considers his existential condition, his loneliness, and his lack of control over his situation. I could just take a nap. I think they added that to the Twitch terms and conditions because people were just napping. They'd be like, live streaming, sleeping tonight. Good night, everybody. And then just like put a camera on themselves and fall asleep. I think that became a TOS violation. Though there are some funny stories about streamers just like straight up accidentally falling asleep and then waking up with 300 people watching them and subscribing and donating bits, and that's hilarious. Wonder if that had any copycats. People trying to achieve that a second time. Alright, we've rounded out the hour, Spider Friend. Please tell me that you don't need like another hour. You need another hour, we're going home. Oh no. Web's almost finished, but I better wait a little more. Alright, we're going home. We wandered all the way up here. Twice. What else do we have to do? Let's go back to the staircase. Let's grab another one of those pink crystals. Why not? Then we can go back home. We can play music. We could burn off an hour in 10 minutes at home, and I would have just headed home and done that if I knew that he needed even more time. Because I should have assumed. We should always assume that they need more time. What else do we have for news? Don't miss a game design deep dive into Amnesia's sanity meter. Amnesia's like, is it 10 years old already? Gotta be getting there. Microsoft aims to give hourly staff their full pay despite COVID-19 cutbacks. Upcoming UI tweak will make the Outer Worlds infinitely more accessible. Let's read about that one. I streamed a couple sessions of the Outer Worlds, but it just didn't really take off, both in my interest and in viewership. It's an interesting world, interesting writing, but it didn't really hook me. The Outer Worlds developer Obsidian has been quietly working on a font scaling feature to let players adjust the size of the microscopic text in the sci-fi RPG. It might seem like a small tweak, but it's one that'll make the title infinitely more accessible for anyone with sight issues. I do remember the text being really small on the screen. Or those who don't like their video games to double as an impromptu eye test. I couldn't imagine trying to play that on like a living room TV instead of on the PC with a monitor right in front of my face. UI programmer Nate McDormand showed off the new feature on Twitter. It's hard to overstate how much of a difference it makes in terms of readability. McDormand explained he's been working on the feature for the last 3 months, and that the final version will allow players to toggle the font size using a customized slider. He also added that Obsidian knew about the font size issue before launch, but didn't quite anticipate how big a problem it would become. Font size was an issue we knew about before launch, but didn't know how much of an issue it would be. That's exactly what they just said. He wrote, once the game launched, we knew it had to be fixed regardless of the time it would take, so I got to work. Font scaling will arrive alongside patch 1.3 later this week, which will also usher in other changes such as improved font visibility, ultra-wide support, and multi-quest map tracking. Oh, that might be cool. You know, maybe I'll give it another look. It's at 1.3 now. Maybe they've had another couple updates. We'll see. That and No Man's Sky has had a couple updates, so we can go back to our world in No Man's Sky, possibly. Apparently now you can grow your own ship, a living ship. That's very Farscape, if so. Well, that'll be neat. Oh, we got the trumpets. Or the digital synth horn. We're making this guy walk all over the place. He doesn't have any shoes. How calloused do you imagine his feet are? Or is he just a giant callus? Patience. This path in the background makes me think that, like, we'll walk on that eventually back there, but we've tested these sides here. They're not secrets. We did find that one secret that helped us make our instrument. And that was kind of a gimme, because you could see the instrument piece. Some of these others might just be places you end up in after, like, getting to a room that you can't get to yet. That's my guess. My level design instinct is kicking in and telling me that that's a later experience. Sit in your armchair again. Go there. Oh, another coal. Oh, we were going here. That's right. Good opportunities to hydrate. Okay, I think we're almost there. I think we're going to cut over. I haven't been looking at the map. I think we're like 2 rooms away. It would be neat if there's anything else I could click on. Like, remove a brick from the wall. There are no other indicators. That room kind of reminds me of Shadowgate. At one point you do actually click and remove a brick from the wall. Alright, we'll keep working on this one. We already put a couple minutes into it. Now, this is just straight up vandalism. I haven't played Boneworks yet, so I'm hesitant to read this article because I don't want spoilers, because it looks like an interesting game. E3 loses creative directors months before the show. Interesting. Steam Lab's newest edition is a dedicated news hub. That's kind of cool. The folks behind Valve's Steam Labs initiative have been hard at work churning out new and experimental features that could improve the overall Steam experience for developers and players alike. The latest new tool to launch under Steam Labs builds on some of the concepts put forth in the platform's Steam library redesign by putting developer-made news posts, updates, and events front and center in the news hub. Experiment 009 gives Steam users a single page where they can find a feed of events and announcements for games in their library or wish list, marked as a game to follow, or that Steam's algorithms think they'll enjoy. Updates from the Steam blog or even the Steamworks blog for developers can end up in that feed as well. Valve's full news hub rundown has more on what the experimental feature has to offer, though the team points out that one major benefit is that it puts active events on Steam front and center to help players that might not have seen those updates listed on the game's library page. Halfway there. As with other Steam Labs offerings, the news hub hasn't been integrated into the main Steam experience quite yet. Instead, Valve uses that time in the lab's program to gather reactions to tools, adjust as needed, and decides if it's something that could improve Steam as a whole. For example, a handful of new search options recently made the jump from Labs to Steam that started as a new algorithm for searches, but was expanded based on user feedback to improve a number of quality of life improvements for search as a whole. Interesting. I'm gonna bookmark this because that might be an interesting way to get some new game news. I've been using the news feed on Steam's library page. It's been handy. The ESA is actively assessing new COVID-19 info, but says E3 is still on. This was 4 days ago. Is E3 still on? The Entertainment Software Association has posted an updated statement on June's E3 plans as concerns about the ongoing COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak continue to rise. In that statement, the ESA says that E3 is currently still planned to take place in Los Angeles on June 9th through the 11th, but that it is actively monitoring and evaluating the situation daily. The ESA's updated comments come hours after the County of Los Angeles declared a state of emergency, a step that ultimately allows local government to better access and allocate funds for preventative measures and continue to monitor the virus's spread. Los Angeles reported its first COVID-19 related death today, which was 4 days ago, and has reported 7 confirmed cases so far. The health and safety of our attendees, exhibitors, partners, and staff are top priority, reads the statement. While the ESA continues to plan for a safe and successful E3 show, we are monitoring and evaluating the situation daily. Our E3 team and partners continue to monitor COVID-19 via the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and the World Health Organization. We are actively assessing the latest information and will continue to develop measures to further reduce health risks at the show. So it's a great way to say that they haven't changed anything just yet, which I guess I'm fine with. The convention that I work with is taking the same stance. We're playing it by ear and taking taking a hint from much larger, much more responsible organizations like the World Health Organization to tell us what we should do should something get worse. I mean, definitely going to try to limit the amount of groups of people that I'm in over the next few weeks, but I've got to go to work at my day job, and my day job is at a place where about 600 people work. Pinky, what is up? We are picking away at this stone, exercising our patience with the longing tonight. He's more than halfway done, I think he said. Oh, he's almost finished. You've been on it for a few days now? Have you gotten all of these? I got one pink stone in a cave. I guess without too many spoilers, but line breaks on Instagram doesn't seem to be a thing. It might be. Maybe Google it. Maybe you have to like copy a line break and paste it. Oh hey, the crystal broke off. So yeah, this is pretty much vandalism. Let's go home. I feel like now we need like another hour or more off of our total time before we go back to the spider. It is very much the antithesis of competitive gaming, isn't it? Unless you consider it like up there with playing chess with the Grim Reaper. And that's competitive gaming.